So what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 3 of Behind the Brand podcast. This week, I have our friends from Palm Golf. I met these guys at the PGA show in person, but I started talking to them like November-ish, December. I love their style, and I was like, hey, I got to reach out to these guys. Very innovative golf glove company, really cool designs, and just good people all around. So I texted them. I tested Dustin on Wednesday and was like, hey, you want to be on my podcast? And he's like, sure. So he was able to get Justin and Joe, and now here we all are. So without further ado, this is Palm Golf, and here's their story. So I guess let me start off first so you guys kind of know. Whenever I talk to a brand, I always ask them, like, what's your story, right? That's always the first thing I ask, because like I'll know within the first 5 minutes if this is a good brand or not to work with. Not so much like, are they popular? Or are they killing it or something? I don't care about that. I just want to know, like, are they cool, right? Because that's the first thing. Because if they're not really cool, I don't want to work with them. And so I already know you guys are cool because you're on my show. But so really, my first question to you, these are all big softball questions, right? The first question is, what's your story? So when did you guys first decide? Like, I guess first each tell me like roughly your background and like why, like I know you guys are all boys and stuff, but like how you came up with Palm, and how it kind of started initially and what year and that kind of thing.
Sure, I'll jump in.
Let Justin go first.
Yeah, so actually all three of us are, we're all from the East Coast. We all grew up in like Jersey, Philly, and moved out to California, all of us in the range of like, I don't know, like 4 to 8 years ago or something like that. And pretty much all met out here, through golf, kind of. I mean, some of it through just like friends and stuff, but like really like we started to become friends through golf. And that's really how the whole thing started. I mean, none of us had really like a concrete like background, I guess, in like golf per se, but we all like bring different things to the table, whether it's like design, finance, operations, just like all that kind of stuff. So we started it in 2017. So we started with a Kickstarter.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's how we got started. And we were fortunate; we got funded pretty quick, and that was kind of like the jumpstart into Palm. We shipped out our first batch of gloves in January of 2018, and
That's cool.
And we've just been growing it ever since.
So you guys like didn't even know each other. Like I think you guys are all from California when you started. So you guys are all East Coast guys, met in LA area and like became friends and were like, hey, we should do something together.
Pretty much. Dustin and I went to school together in PA, but
college or
yeah. We went to college together. I was a transfer into the school. So like I didn't personally know a ton of people there, but like the house that I moved into, I found out like quickly was like the main party house of the entire college. So Dustin was like at my house all the time, but we didn't really know each other. Like I knew who he was and stuff, but yeah, we didn't really like start talking until, just prior to moving out. We had kind of connected and we're like, yo, we kind of know each other. So we should definitely link up when, once I get out there.
Oh, that's cool.
So, and then you guys like, Colin and Veronica worked together or something.
Yeah. So when I moved out here, I didn't know anybody. And like my problem was too, is I work from home full time. I work remote for a company out in New Jersey. And I wasn't even leaving the house for the first 3 months when I moved out to California. And then fortunately, my fiance was working for a company that Dustin's wife was working for as well. So that was how I got linked up with them. So that was kind of like the first introduction I had. And of course, like the first thing we did was we were out of the bar and I think we literally booked a tea time within a week of like the first time that I met these guys too, which is pretty cool.
Well, it's cool.
We were at Barley Forge, right? Because we talked about golf and we're like, oh shit, we could all hang out with each other.
You're like bros from other same, like, yeah, it's like you connected automatically because you're like, oh, this person's just like me. They're just, they just moved to LA and they don't know anybody and they're just like me. Like not, like, I don't know. It's like you connect with people right away and you're like, oh, you're pretty cool.
Well,
yeah,
that's how we all kind of met, but we're actually technically from Huntington Beach. I like the word Huntington Beach more than I like Los Angeles, but
Oh, it's way better. I mean, I agree on that.
The idea was really hatched at Costa Mesa Country Club, which is technically our local muni course.
Yeah.
And we were just in between drinking beers and duffing chips and missing and hitting 3-putts. We started brainstorming ideas of things we liked and didn't like about golf, and we didn't feel that a lot of the stuff necessarily fit the style that we live, being that we live in Southern California. And it all really began, like Justin said, with that Kickstarter and launching a glove that was unique and completely different in the golf market, in that golf accessory market per se. And in 3 years, we took off big time. And Joe can really kind of speak to, all that success pretty quickly.
So how many partners are there? I met a bunch of people at the show. Is it just you three? Is there somebody else too, right?
Yeah, the other guy you would have met would have been Alan. He's he's our sales rep. So yeah, he's also from New Jersey as well. Has a sales background, and
that's cool.
He was nice enough to want to volunteer and come out and meet up with us and help us out, so that some of our time could be spent, at least because it was our first time even going out to the show. So to even have the ability to walk away from the booth for a little bit,
that's huge.
It really was. I mean, it definitely opened the opportunity for us to try and go engage with people that we were trying to seek out, while also still getting the foot traffic at our booth, which was nice.
Well, it's like a double-edged sword, right? Because you want the booth because you want people to see who you are. It's like it's not cliche, but it's not like, oh, look, we made it, right? Because okay, we made it to the show. It's a cool booth. Okay, this is a legit brand. It's not somebody just working out of their garage, right? But on the flip side of it, it's you can't leave the booth, right? So it's you got to have enough crew to hang with you, or at least know the product and can help you
for sure
work through that.
It was cool just being there though too. I mean, we kind of went on different schedules. We had 2 people at the booth and then 2 people walked, and we only had a 10x10, so we didn't have chairs or anything at our booth. So you had
a corner though. You had a good corner.
Yeah. Man, that was a long weekend. We were up way too late every single night. Slept for an hour and a half, so it felt and then had to stand for the next fucking 18 hours straight. So,
yo, Paul, the first day. Sorry, Josh. The first day, man. The first day of the show was all this anticipation. We went out the night before, and Justin was so hungover. I couldn't even focus. Every time I looked over him, I just saw how hungover he was, and I couldn't stop laughing.
The boys were just excited to be part of it.
I mean, we had been obviously the year prior to it, leading up to PGA show, everyone's asking are you going to PGA? Are you going to PGA? And we're like, no. So you get bummed. You feel like you're missing out on it and everything. So this past year, our first time going, a lot of work going up to it and everything. And then we just went way too hard the first night. And day one of the show, I mean, I probably talked to two
people.
Dude, I was
the booth paid for itself.
I was the sweaty cold guy, just leaning on the other person's booth,
you
just
probably had
trying not
COVID.
to throw up. Dude, I probably did at that point.
Patient zero.
Oh man, it was bad, man. It was really bad.
Oh, that's so funny.
It was fun.
But you had a good corner. I remember because I was oh, you're right. I knew exactly where you were. I was oh, that's cool. It wasn't you're tucked in the worst area,
No.
It was a good spot.
Yeah,
it cost you $1 million, but it was all good.
I feel like we got really, really fortunate with that. The location was really good, and I think, not to kiss our own ass too much, but I think we did a really good job with the space just by the presentation, because we had a lot to kind of showcase with it, and it's tough to do it with 10x10. I was actually sweating. We were one of the few brands that didn't have an area for somebody to come by and actually physically sit down and write orders, but ended up not biting us at all.
I don't think you really need that. Honestly, no one's doing that. Was 1980, right? I know nothing. So that's just my opinion. I think you want somebody to come in there, connect with you, exchange information, show them the product, and then they're gonna text you.
Yeah,
later
we were definitely encouraging that too. If somebody was interested, we were just handing off handing them off to like our sales guy or something, like, hey, we'll be in touch with you. There was like obviously a few that like wanted to write them on the spot, and like, to be honest, we like weren't really prepared for that. We were kind of scrambling a little bit at
Really
times, but
interesting. That's cool that people want to do it on the spot.
Yeah, even if they weren't interested, like we had some people obviously that were seeking out and knew our location and came to us. But I mean, even if people were like walking by, Dustin was like number one pulling people off to the side, like, hey, you know Palm? No, you don't? Okay, well, you're about to learn about Palm. Like,
Yeah.
he was like a car
Salesman.
salesman
out there.
Yeah, he is.
I mean,
Meanwhile,
that's how
Justin's
always
crying
been.
in the corner.
Yeah, that's not a exaggeration either.
But here's the thing, though. This is what okay, I feel like I made a lot of mistakes that day or during the trip because like I didn't know what I was doing, right? So my biggest one, I was talking to Jason Jason Moore at True Links, about this. I was like, I was walking back and forth all freaking day for the first day and a half. And I was like, I wasted so much time, right? Because I was like, and then I'm like, you know what? No more setting up meetings. So then, okay, so what year did you guys do your Kickstarter then?
2017.
17.
Yeah,
What made you guys pick Kickstarter?
Well, we didn't have any money to really fund it ourselves. We were like, how can we get this bad boy started and really get our name out there and see if we actually have a product that people are going to be interested in? So, when we launched it, we really had no idea like what this is going to do. We had very little understanding of Instagram and Facebook ads at the time. And despite all of that, we ended up getting funded in like a week and a half.
Because you had a cool product. That's why
like
the product spoke for itself.
Yeah,
like seriously, if it was garbage, dude, no one would have cared. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
Well, it's funny though when you look back at some of like the product and some of the pictures that we had on there and stuff, like how inferior it is to what we have now. But
it's growth.
That's the cool thing. Like we knew we had something like totally different out there. It wasn't perfect by any means, but we knew that like what we had, we needed to like kind of get out there and just keep like improving on and stuff. So
yeah, you guys had a differentiator. Like you were different. Like, and it was cool. It was a different vibe, but it was cool. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of copycats out there, you know that. So I mean, but yours wasn't. Yours like completely innovative, and I was like, oh, that's a cool design. Oh, that's really cool. Like, I think people connected right away because nobody wants to be sold, right?
Yeah. No.
I mean, I don't.
I mean, one of the things for us though too, like I would say like Dustin's more of like the surfer, right? Like he would go out and goes out like, often and stuff. Like I've worked in the surf industry for a while, merchandising, buying, designing, stuff like that. So like we were able, obviously we live in Orange County. So it was like taking sort of like that vibe of where we live right now too. And like,
yeah, where you're at.
Yeah. And just kind of like bringing that into golf, So like, that's what you're going to like, that's what you see. And what you're going to continue to see is more of that crossover of like, not, just having more of that like lifestyle driven, like kind of like a stance, like, but, you're going to see a lot more like surf crossover in Palm.
Yeah. I mean, since as long as I can remember, I've had a board between my feet, whether it's a skateboard, a snowboard, or a surfboard. And I mean, primarily when you look at most of our products, it's something that you wear on and off the course, and it doesn't scream golf, but when people see the logo or they see the name, they know exactly what it is.
Here's my first take on Palm, right? But at first it caught my eye, and it was on Instagram, and your guys' logo, that was like the white on black, right? It was very like clean and simple, but you're like, what's that, right? And it was like, but it's very cool. And I think like that helps resonate with the rest of your products because it's like that. It's like, it's subtle, but it's very cool. You know what I mean? And so I don't know, like, I think you guys do a good job on that. I don't say it to everybody. Some people's logos are ugly and or boring, but we have to figure out what that is. Like, oh, what is that? Oh, I see what that is. Whatever. But I think that's what caught my eye initially.
I think that's a good point though, because like when I was like a buyer, I'd have so many brands like coming through the store and trying to pitch to us, like to sell it to the shop and everything. And obviously like you like start to pick up on like logos and like what looks good and what resonates with people and stuff like that. And like there's certain brands that just like when it's so like easy to relate to, it's you can understand the brand a little bit quicker than others, you know? So like, I think that was definitely like a driving force behind like our palm tree logo. You know, we just wanted something that was like very simple, very clean, but like, you know, you look at it and like just kind of makes you feel good, you know? It's like,
Well, you're
palm
wearing the
trees
hat
there.
right now, so it's so like cool that you're like talking about your logo, but you're literally wearing a hat that has it. But like, if people are watching this on YouTube, they'll see like, oh yeah, it's for sure. Like, I know what they're talking about. Like, oh, that's what caught my eye. And then when I started learning about you guys, and then I know we were like IMing back and forth, and we started texting and stuff. But like, you know, when I saw your products, I was like, whoa, this is really cool. Like, I don't know. There's only about, in my opinion, there's only a couple good glove brands. Running a website that reviews products, right? Lots of products. I can tell you right now, everyone, their brother thinks they own a golf glove company, right? Like, not you guys, but there's like you and probably 3 or 4 other brands I would consider legitimate, really good golf glove companies. And then you have a ton of wannabes, right? That are like, I'm like, this is garbage. Or like they buy the same thing. They always tell me the same pitch, like, oh, comes from whatever, that special leather. What's it called? Cabretta leather.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. You look like a Titleist glove. Congratulations. I mean, oh, we made in the same factory. That's why it's a Titleist glove and not yours. You know, like but I think what's cool about yours is like literally it's just, you can accessorize with it, number one, right? And you get the California vibe. You can accessorize with the product, but then you have other products too, like, you know, with other apparel that's like goes with your brand that is cool. I don't know. That's just my opinion. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that was the driving goal. It was like, why can't we just make something that performs, holds up, has that quality, but then also just generally just looks better than what's out there already. And the golf glove was the most identifiable piece that we knew wasn't so oversaturated that we couldn't make it better. So that was why we targeted that too. I mean, it was an easy item to say, all right, this is overwhelmingly neglected compared to other things. Like, there's loud shirts out there. Everybody wants to add style to the game. And the glove was kind of not an item that was getting that kind of love. So that was why we focused there at first.
So you had them from Kickstarter, and you had that pretty much fulfilled your first order, right? Or like your first big push.
Yeah. So I wanted to piggyback on what Dustin was saying. Like,
yeah, sure.
Not only was it about the finance and the simplicity of what you get with Kickstarter, but like, I don't know if you're familiar, but if you don't hit your goal, that money's gone, and everybody who pledged to that Kickstarter gets nothing in return. They just get their money back. But like, essentially, these people saw a couple pictures, read our background. We had like a quick pitch video that these guys put together, and it just kind of went through the brand and like what we were looking to accomplish. And it was cool because not only do you get the funding that you need to get the company off the ground, but we got like our first 200 people to like give us some feedback about the glove too, whether good, bad, ugly, whatever it was. Like, we then had a bunch to build off of to like start snowballing the product. And we knew like, okay, we have some improvements we have to make. We have some notes. We have some really good feedback from people. Overwhelmingly, it was positive, but we did learn a lot about just the feedback from fulfilling those.
That's huge, right? Yeah. I mean, it's massive because you're not going to spend a lot of money or time on something that.
I think that's what really differentiates us, though, is like, it's everything that we love, and we're bringing our own lifestyle into it, and we're telling our story along the way, and we're making things that we want to wear on a daily basis. And, you know, people are really resonating with the designs that we're coming out with the gloves, with the patterns. So I think it's really just the story behind everything, and you can kind of see that lifestyle in all of our products.
It's a West Coast chill vibe. That's the best thing. You know, that's how I describe it. Like, it's I don't know. It's cool. I mean, there's very few brands I think have really cool products, and I think you're one of them. That's why I called you on the show.
Thanks,
I mean, really. When did you feel like you had the biggest growth there? Was it last year? Was your biggest growth year in terms of brand?
I think last year was massive just in terms of growth, people we worked with. I mean, yeah, it was pretty epic.
Like the relationships you built and like.
Yep. Yeah. We did some pretty cool stuff last year that like, it's only been, you know, we've had the brand for 2.5 years or whatever. Yeah. And like 2.5 years ago, we were, you know, sitting there brainstorming what Palm could be. And like, shit, could you imagine one day if we got to like work with Golf Digest, you know, like these like conversations that we had. And, you know, so much of that like became a reality, you know, pretty quick, that we're, you know, super grateful and fortunate for. Like, you know, last year we did a collaboration with Golf Digest, and we did like a full towel line with them.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
So yeah, it was really cool. We got to like design them ourselves, and we did these like Arnold Palmer and Tiger Woods and, you know, like really fun, unique stuff.
Really cool.
And, and then we got to work with like NBC and going out to American Century Championship out in Tahoe.
Oh, wow.
It was like one of the coolest things that we like ever could do. I mean, they gave us the huge opportunity to showcase like our brand on the 17th hole, which is like their signature par 3 there. And we didn't even have to work it. So we just like, we just partied the whole weekend.
That's what Justin thought when they was going to the PGA show. He's like, oh, someone else is going to work it.
I know, man. It's just giving me like a bad game right here, actually. But
then he realized he paid for the booth.
Yeah, we're like, but yeah, that was a fun week too. But like, all these opportunities, they've hit us. We've worked our ass off to get there for sure.
Yeah, this wasn't given to you guys. This is who you are. That's all it is. Like how hard you work.
Yeah.
And that's the coolest part, because none of us were in the golf industry or came from the golf industry. It was literally like we're coming into a market that we didn't know that much about. And
yeah, we didn't have like the connections. It's like we didn't like know people that we could say, hey, like let's reach out to this person. We just like we focused we started at 0, but we focused so heavily on our like visual presence. Like our Instagram is like our driving channel really right now. I mean, we take that one really serious, and we have a lot of help from like, Dustin's wife too. She helps a lot with our setting up our Instagram. We just take a ton of pictures when we're out golfing, and
smart.
Try not to be like too annoying with it, but I'm the one taking a lot of the pictures, but I enjoy it, honestly. Like,
it's art, right? It's art. Yeah. It's like, I'm going to get a really good shot here.
We're not out there with like any like crazy setups or anything. Like every once in a while we get my brother out there who has like a really nice camera, and he will take some, and we post a lot of his pictures on our page too. But
I'm jealous.
But yeah, to circle back too about like the most successful growth year. I mean, by far, pretty much if you took any like measurable, tangible thing that happened, I mean, 2019 was by far our biggest growth in partnerships, biggest growth in customer base, biggest growth in sales, biggest growth in wholesale accounts.
Wow.
Like, so, I mean, by far, like everything that was measurable, it happened in 2019. But like, dude, and again, not to sound like we're being full of ourselves, but it's kind of shocking because I thought that the sales would kind of taper off, especially with COVID happening, but we were just like going through everything. And even this year, it's up like another 30%. So it's like, it's really wild to watch. And again, like, we didn't really dive into the roles here, but I don't really do much in the way of like the creative. I have I do the copy and stuff for Palm. That's about the most I contribute as far as creativity. Mm-hmm. But like, it's shocking.
Don't push that down though. You got his captions and our descriptions on our website. You should read them. Like, if they're probably often overlooked, but Joe is extremely clever in his words.
But that's the fun piece of it for me too. It's like, these two are my friends. So it's like fun to watch when the creative output has a direct correlation with the growth of like the customer base and the sales. It's like, that is the validation that's really cool with Palm. So that's the kind of stuff that like I dig watching. It's like I watch these two do stuff behind the scenes that like no one's seeing, setting up like photos in our warehouse, doing stuff like that. But then it's validated by like actually looking at the numbers of our growth and stuff, which is pretty sweet.
No, it's cool. What's cool is that you have cool partners, right? It's not like you're a solo doing this by yourself, or you hate your partner or whatever. It's like you each have skill sets that are able to work off each other, but you're still boys at the end. So it's like the perfect scenario, right? Where it's not like you're a one-man show and you can't bounce ideas off yourself, right? Like,
I mean, there's 3 of us. So at the end of the day, when there's a vote, it's never going to be a tie, which makes decisions a lot easier too for us.
It's hard to have one role and do everything. You know what I mean? Like, I guess
almost impossible.
And it's like not as fun too, though.
No. I mean, here's the thing too. Like,
the money stresses me out. I don't even deal with that.
He doesn't even look.
All I want to do is take pictures with my brother, and
he never looks at the bank account. It's primarily Joe, and then I'll look at it too.
Joe's the
any bills coming in, I'm like, I don't even want to know about it.
Justin's out riding his skateboard. Justin's like, whatever. No, I'm just kidding.
No, it's good because like
Joe, I'm just totally kidding around.
Joe's like super in touch with the finances.
No, it's perfect.
I know a little bit about it, and like I kind of sit in the middle where like Justin and I will start like cooking up these crazy ideas or things that we want to do.
Yeah.
Eventually I know like, okay, well, I know this isn't going to happen this month because we have to pay this bill, and this bill, but it could happen next month. So let's do it next month. We'll just let Joe know in a week. And that's how things go.
Was trying to buy vans, like drones, and I'm like, yo,
drones. We're gonna get some drones, and then we're gonna like fly them all by the beach. Let's buy like 5 drones. Joe's like, no, we're not doing that, dude.
The drone footage is coming soon.
Oh, it's awesome. So like, here's my little secret. What I want to do is I want to come out and see you guys, you know, maybe in the fall. That's not so hot, but like we can go play golf and screw around, and you can take drone footage
Dude,
of me.
That can be arranged, yeah.
Like Justin said though, like he likes wandering around and like taking the photos, and me, I'm
cool.
like obsessed with getting better at golf, but also taking a lot of footage and stuff. So sometimes I feel like I rush things, and then I'm like, I take a photo or I take a video, and then I sit down and hit the ball, and I freaking pull it, and I get so pissed off because I'm feeling like I'm rushing my shots.
What's coming up for this year? Like, what are you guys doing this year for 20 when it comes to the gloves and apparel and stuff?
Things got a little disrupted, obviously, from COVID. You know, like we have a game plan, right? And we're sticking to it as much as we possibly can. But like, due to everything that changed, it kind of switched it up like slightly. So right now we're just trying to like, we're going to be releasing like small hits like periodically throughout the rest of the year. You know, we've got like 4th of July coming up. We've got some really fun stuff that's going to be coming out for that.
That's cool.
We'll keep doing some fun little hits like that throughout the rest of the year. And really we're starting to do the talks for 2021 now. We got to start like designing and all of that kind of stuff. So we're just trying to like, we're really working on quality right now. We're working on like efficiency and quality and getting better at what we're doing from like all the back end stuff that like people don't really see right now, you know, like,
yeah, I feel like right now is like the infrastructure year, right? Like now it's like you can, because that's my own, for my company or my brand, I guess, that's exactly what I'm doing. 100%, like fine tuning the site, fine tuning deliverability, speed, I don't know, like everything.
For
so
sure.
that, I mean, now you got time, right? If you weren't doing that, you'd be too busy running the day-to-day not grind, but like,
yeah, I mean, we talked about that in the beginning too. Like this is like kind of the year of like reassessing. I mean, everything from like shipping logistics to our marketing and making sure that stuff is set up correctly, to cleaning up finances, to a lot of the stuff that you like don't really want to do, I guess, in some respects.
It's true.
But
it's only the things you can't get. It's the things you can't get to because you're too busy. There's what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what I feel like. I was like talking to some other people on my team, and I was like, "This is, you know, it gets us like we've gotten a lot done in the last 4 months or 3 months that I probably would have never have gotten to, or it would take me 2 years to get to it." But I think after the flip side, I think once we get through this COVID stuff, I feel that like all the stuff that you're doing is going to help you grow even more, right? Because all that's in place, you don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah.
Are you guys going to do stuff for the Masters? It's part 2, you think? Like in that time frame? I think this year's so weird. It's going to be hard to do anything. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I know it's hard to plan for a lot of those types of things, but we've got some stuff in the works for that for sure.
We got we
had a hat that we had a Masters like themed hat that was like all ready to go for April, and we ended up just doing like a little release on it, and that did really well, even though the Masters didn't happen yet. But yeah, we'll have more of that kind of stuff coming out in November for sure.
No, it's cool. I don't know. I think you guys have good stuff. I mean, obviously, it's just fun finding cool brands that you connect with that have quality products, but then like you're not embarrassed to wear it.
That's probably one of the leading things for us is we're strictly trying to make product that we feel like only like it caters to what we would wear on the course and what we feel like our friends, our family would enjoy. So it's been, you know, us sticking to that kind of idea and that value. It's yielded like other customers wanting to wear the brand as well. So.
All right. Well, cool. Thanks guys for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to check out Palm, check out their website. as well as on Instagram. It'll be in the show notes today. And I'm telling you right now, you will not be disappointed in what they do. They're a good bunch of guys, as you can see, and you should support them. So thanks for being on the show today. I really appreciate it, guys.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, dude.
Say, bud.
Appreciate it.